Jason Momoa.
Yeah! That's how he reacted on that.
That's how he reacted. Well, let's make it short and sweet, guys. Look, he doesn't survive in the timelines anyway, so it really doesn't matter. It was look. Mirror replaced him. It was Barry Allen. It was Cyborg, Batman, the Joker, and Deathstroke. So there you go. Everybody else is dead. So it doesn't really matter.
I mean, we'll need him in Scale 3 when the timeline gets reversed, but for Zia Shale 2...
All right, fine. They'll call him back for that. Okay, whatever.
But, I mean, I have to say, a lot of people are giving Jason Momoa shit right now, but the dude's an actor. He needs to work. He's not an established actor like Ben.
Thank you.
While we're all making fun of him, he needs the bag. Real talk. You're absolutely right. He does. He does. I get it, man.
Listen. Let's be honest here. Momoa, when Zach calls him, he's gonna come back.
Oh, he'll come back for sure.
He's gonna come back. Okay, he's gonna come back because remember, Momoa said it. I would not be here in my career if it weren't for you and Aquaman.
And he was the one who let the cat out of the bag about the whole Snyder Cut thing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is. I mean, he's an actor. He's going to want to work. He wants to work. So it is,
And this is his dream cast. He always
wanted this.
He always wanted to be Lobo. Now, one thing I said backstage to you guys, I'll say it in public now, is that I'm not I don't know Lobo well enough as a character. Okay, only what I've seen in the animated shows. I haven't actually read the Lobo comic book, but this is something that
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But this is something that he wants to do, and I'm going to respect him for that because Momoa has done some good movies too. Yes, he's been in a few flops. Incoming one coming now called Minecraft, but whatever. Topic for another channel, not here. But I'm happy for Momoa. I really am happy because this is something that he really wanted. I don't think Gunn is going to do justice on the character, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll see if it even comes to the big.
Wait, so right, and that's off the back of Superman lunacy, man. I'm telling you, because if that fails,
none of this is happening. Exactly. Yeah.
I bet Lobo's cameoing in Superman. I would not be surprised if Lobo has a cameo in that film.
It's possible. I mean, he's got every other superhero in there. So what's one more? I don't know. Like, here's the thing, man. I really don't understand why this is news. And I was saying this to the guys backstage. We knew about this like a year ago. When he was jumping up and down inside the Warner Brothers headquarters, and he posted that video on social media. So, like, the fact that they're making a whole news cycle out of this now is what I find more interesting than the news itself, because we've already known about this. We've known about this for a long, long time.
This is misdirection. This is just
exactly because if they were just gonna they wouldn't have announced it way back when or did whatever it is they did. He was like a safety net, so to speak. They were like, okay, we're gonna break glass in case of emergency and see if we can deflect them with this. Okay, look. People may know Lobo. People may not know Lobo. What I am saying is the general audience, when they hit the theater, they're going to be looking for Henry Cavill. I'm just saying what's about to happen.
You mean in the Superman movie? In the
Superman movie, yeah. Yep. What happened to the other guy? Who is Lobo? Who is this? Who is that? Especially if they don't read comics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you really don't need to read comics to know who Superman is. Everybody knows that. Household staple. But these other ones, just walk up to somebody on the streets and be like, hey, you know who Mr. Terrific is? Who? Hey, do you know who Guy Gardner is? Who?
Who are the Wonder Twins? Remember when they wanted to do Wonder Twins?
Yeah.
If you haven't read comics,
what was the other one? The Zatanna movie they wanted to do too?
Yeah. Zatanna. You're not gonna know who Zatanna is. You're not gonna know who the female Furies are. You're not gonna know. What are you doing?
They could barely get people out to a Birds of Prey movie.
Why would you headline your
Oh,
character,
yeah.
headline your universe like this? And banking on the fact that every single MCU fan is going to like that flavor. They're not. I had somebody online try to argue with me and tell me that all comic books are the same.
What?
I said, let me give you a breakdown in English 101 one more time. There is a style to how people write. If you pay attention, you'll know. Stephen King does not write like Dean Koontz. Okay? They have a different style of writing. That's it. You can't say that DC, if you open up a DC, I could open up a DC comic book now and look at a Marvel comic book and tell the difference based on what I'm looking at, based on how it's written, based on the story. The tones are different. Sure, DC does have characters every now and again that are, more lighthearted or funny or quirky or whatever the case may be. But that is not the sum total or the whole of what DC is. DC started out as Detective Comics. Does Detective Comics, that name, sound like kiddie stuff to you?
Nope.
It's not. Marvel, however, does. Marvel. It's like fireworks going off when you're going to see Disney and Mickey Mouse. Marvel. Detective Comics. It's in the name. It's meant to be a noir, darker version of comic book characters. Period.
It's what people have associated the brand with for over 100 years, man.
There you go.
Brand recognition. People don't go to DC for lighthearted, children's stories. That's not what DC is known for.
That's not what DC is.
It's not what the brand has been established as for 100 years. Right. People know DC for their dark tones. That's DC. Like it's always been that way. It's always been that way.
Again, if you're into this stuff, all you got to do is pay attention to the signs. Think about it. Think about the timelines here.
Nice.
You had a really pretty good run with Keaton and Tim Burton's Batmans. You switch over to Schumacher, everything goes to shit. Mm-hmm. You have a good 78 Superman. Superman 2 was actually pretty dope to me. That was my favorite one. Then it went campy. Busted. Then they tried to rehash the 78 with Brandon Routh. Again, mad respect because he was a dope Superman. Wrapped around the Luthor story again with real estate and kryptonite. Failed. And then they fell off the block, came back with Christopher Nolan. And he changed the game after that. So for those of you who keep blaming Zack Snyder, please understand, it was the road from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy that started all of this. It was him. It's a cycle.
Over and over.
He was meant to open that universe up for Zack Snyder. And he wrote the first story in it, which was Superman. Christopher Nolan and David S. Goyer, guys, came up with that story. And the way Christopher Nolan wrote that story was exactly the way Zack Snyder shot it. You think that Zack Snyder was giving Christopher Nolan notes on his script? No. The scene where everybody was getting crushed by the Black Zero machine and all that dialogue, that's Christopher Nolan. So you can't blame Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's directing from a script. Zack Snyder just happens to like the script because it was his cup of tea. That's the reason why he hired him in the first place. That's why he vouched for Zack Snyder. That was the point. Set your universe separate from Marvel. And by the second movie, if they would have let BvS just stay in the theater a little bit longer, it would have eclipsed Marvel. At some point, it would have. People would have eventually been like, oh, wow, they got a whole new universe over here. So I got one for, my kids, one for when I want to see something family friendly and funny, you know, with a little bit of drama, maybe a little bit of heart in there. And then I also got something for me. Dark, adult, hero's journey, all that shit. They would have been making the same money. You'd have just had two different flavors. That's all.
And the GOAT of cinema just said it right here. It's not us saying it. It's Chris Nolan himself in an article right here.
And I quote, there's no superhero science fiction film coming out these days where I don't see Zack Snyder's influence. This is coming from the GOAT. He said that. So if Christopher Nolan is saying it, then he must be important to this genre. He must be important to this industry. He is the blueprint. Exactly.
I've seen so many different takes on some of the stuff that was done in Man of Steel, like the fight with Zod where they're flying through the farm and Superman is just fucking wailing
Punching
on
him.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
was wailing on right. I've seen so many different takes of that, whether it's like in anime or other TV shows that have attempted to do something very, very similar. So I really do feel like without Man of Steel, I don't think the genre would be the same. You know, that movie specifically inspired so many when it comes to cinematography and camera work, lighting, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Proper framing, everything. How to frame an epic superhero fight, like two aliens battling among each other. And that was one of my big criticisms with Chris Nolan with his Batman. You never really got to see the camera pan back. It was always up close, real tight, real quick shots, especially in the fight scenes, right? Zach really did pull that camera back and let you see it all. And it did inspire so much more that came after, in my opinion.
Yeah, Darshan says, and to this day, they are still confused about it. They think Batman versus Superman is Man of Steel 2. No, it is not Man of Steel 2. Number one, they introduced two different characters in there. The focus of Man of Steel of Man of Steel was about him. Batman versus Superman was about Batman.
Yeah, it was more a Batman movie than a Superman movie.
Come on, guys. It was about Batman. It was about his redemption. That's what BvS was about. Mm-hmm. Superman is already established in the world. He's flying around doing his thing. But the Black Zero event changed Bruce. So that film was about him. It was all about him. Yes, Superman was in it, but Superman was his foil. That was the point. That's why Superman was there. So no, Superman 2, a full-on Superman 2 film is centered around Clark. It's going to be centered around the Daily Planet. Yeah. It's going to be centered around Superman being established, and it's going to be established around another maybe alien character, or maybe even Lex Luthor.
It's also why Batman narrates in that movie.
Thank you.
Because it's his story. He narrates at the beginning, and I'm pretty sure
there was a time before, a time above. There were perfect things, diamond absolutes. Absolutely, it's his movie. That was the point. It was about trying to redeem a man who fell off. That's what that film was about. How can I said that in one fucking sentence? How do you not get that?
And also, if Batman v Superman is Man of Steel 2, then based on that logic, Zack Snyder's Justice League has to be Man of Steel 3, and that makes even less.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
No, Man of Steel 2. We need an actual Man of Steel 2, the one that was planned with Brainiac, Daniel Craig.
The one that was planned with Brainiac and Supergirl. Come on now, Sasha
Dude, I still want to know what happens with that pod. The pod,
Mhm.
dude. Like I hope we get an answer of that pod on ZSJL 2 or 3. Because it'd be perfect to add a Supergirl there also. But anywho,
Yeah. This
let's
is
move
what
on to
this is. Hang on. I wanna share something here right quick.
Go
Hang
ahead,
on
go
a
ahead.
second.
I got to drop on standby, but go ahead.
Okay. Y'all see this?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Look at this. This is what we were gonna get. Look at old Granny Goodness back there.
the sod.
know
Zack
what?
Snyder gave an elegance to this that I cannot describe.
You know what really stings about all of this with James Gunn as well is that,
What's that?
not only did this not happen, but from what I've been reading now that I've become such a fan of Superman and Lois, we were going to get a dark side invasion in that show, and they stopped
Yes,
it from
we were.
happening.
Lord
Yes,
of the
we
Rings.
were.
Fucking
We-
Sauron.
Why
Lord
are
of the
they
Rings.
so afraid to give us the dark side story? I don't understand it. Why
Because
is
they're
that
stupid.
something that we cannot have?
You know-
Because they cannot find men to run a dark universe the way it should be run. That's what it is. They can't find
Well-
somebody with the balls to say, listen here, investors. This is what you're going to do. You're going to give me this amount of money. I'm going to hire this about this many people. I'm going to get directors. I'm going to get producers. I'm going to get everybody on board, and we are going to turn this universe, this DC universe, into something special. We are going to set ourselves apart from Marvel. I don't give a shit, and that's the problem. They're not up on standing up there saying, I don't give a shit what Marvel is doing. We doing this. If they would have had the balls to do that, we wouldn't be here right now. Look at this. We are never going to get a completed story to this until somebody with brains and balls gets on board and let this man do his thing. It's that simple. We're going to get stuff like this. Let me show you. We're going to get that. Y'all like that, guys? Y'all like that?
Pull up that picture I sent in the precinct, bro.
How about the Play-Doh draws on outside of a rubber suit? How about that? That's what y'all want, right? Okay.
The scuba suit.
I got it, Charles. I got it. Hold on. Here it is.
Exactly, Futuretron. He was gonna do a Man of Steel 2, but eventually, yep. Now look at this. Look at this suit. And y'all tell me that that's quality. I want someone to say quality to me and with a straight face. Look at that. By the way, he hired the same person he did from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why the suit looks like this, by the way.
And I think the same guy who did the score. I think the scoring as well.
No, it's a woman, dude. It's a woman.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's not
Okay,
a dude.
my bad.
Yeah, it's a woman. Yeah.
You see, guys, if I make a mistake, I acknowledge it. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, she put absolutely no effort into making this suit.
Scuba man.
No texture, no real. It looks like a rubber suit. It has no texture. It's pale. He's got his drawers on the outside with a yellow belt on. If you tell me that this doesn't scream Doofy from Scary Movie,
It's freaking Scuba Steve.
All right, I gotta put a drop. I gotta find a drop like that.
do you have? Did I give you Did I give you a Special Officer Doofy drop? I can't remember from Scary Movie. Oh, I'm gonna have to make one. I'm gonna have to make one, bro.
Yeah.